right. Well, should you be forced to tip your food delivery person on your food delivery app like Uber Eats? Well, that's the kind of nonsense that lawmakers are spending their time on. In New York City, City Councilman Sean Abreu introduced a bill to force you into tipping your food delivery person on their apps. So what they're doing is making sure that any food delivery app has a forced tipping option when you check out. So think about this for a second. New York City right now is a post-apocalyptic hell, with people getting assaulted on the subway, migrants leaving poop in the streets and on people's brownstone, like literally poops when you walk out of your house. But instead of dealing with all that, they're dealing with this. The bill would force food delivery apps like Uber Eats to require a tip on your order. And it requires app makers to automatically add at least 10%. You can always go more on your order, and then make you figure out how to remove it if you don't want a tip. They call these people the deliveristas. They say they're looking out for the deliveristas. It's like a Starbucks barista, but they're bringing your food delivery. Now, the city already, the reason they have to do this, it's a market perversion because they screwed up with the first market perversion. So what they did was they passed a law requiring these deliveristas to make a minimum of $19.56 per hour, $19.56, which is in turn a price hike that the delivery apps then passed on to the consumers because that increased their costs. It's not like, well, we saw the segment we just did about rising cost of food. So it's not like the restaurants or the apps themselves were making so much money that they had it to share with the deliveristas. They didn't, so they had to take it out of their bottom line. So then, since prices went up for the consumers, tips went down and it hurt the deliveristas. So the delivery service, they were not all of them suddenly making more. Their business was hurt, so they had to cut people's hours and they sort of had to pay them less. This is what happened. It's here's Bloomberg reporting. To compensate for the added costs, Uber and DoorDash and Grubhub, they had to make changes to their apps. So they reduced the delivery guys' hours and limited their earning potential. So again, lawmakers perverted market forces by increasing wages. The deliveristas were hurt, as they were warned about from economists. So now they need to pervert the market again by forcing the tips. And what do you think that will do? Well, as anyone who has even taken a freshman level econ class would know, that when you pass price hikes on to the consumer, it will curb demand. That's called the law of demand. You literally learn this on your first day in an econ class. So consider this price hike for New Yorkers all at the same time that the new state budget puts New York City taxpayers on the hook for all illegal migrant shelters in the city. And wow, why would anyone want to live in New York City when they just keep increasing the price of the things that you want to buy and the things you don't want to buy, such as migrant food and shelter? I don't know. This is just one example of lawmakers, again, being idiots, not understanding sort of natural economics. This may be well-intentioned, I don't know, but it sure is ignorant. And every time they do this, costs go up for the consumer. Here's another thing that lawmakers think they're doing right. Nobody asked them to do it, and it will increase costs for the consumers. Check out California Senate Bill 1352. What you're looking at there is a bipartisan law that proposes to end the Clear program in all California airports because they say it's unfair to have people cutting in line just because they pay more. Do you guys know what Clear is? What it is a service that you can pay a yearly fee. And when you go to the airport, you can go in a faster check line through airport security screening because you've been pre-screened and you pay for that convenience. Well, they're saying it's not fair that people who have the means to pay for that convenience get that convenience and everybody else waits in the regular line, right? So my dad, who is perpetually late and flies a lot out of Oakland, would hit the roof. He would never make a flight again. And so he's really worried about this. We had some text about it. But by this logic, people should not pay more and get better service or expectation. Well, by that logic, you remove all first class pre-boarding or even first class in general, right? You shouldn't allow TSA pre or global entry. Those both cost money as well. What about the HOV lanes or the HOT lanes where you pay more to not sit in traffic? How does that, is that what we're doing now? What do you think of that, guys, boys?
Pay more. I mean, it is capitalism. Pay more to go in these different areas. You want the fast pass at any of these like amusement parks, you pay more for it. Like, you know, you want to.
You pay.
And you get the reality of. It's like you don't look at this like they're gonna, if they eliminate first class, they're not gonna. It's not like they're gonna make the entire plane first class. You're just gonna make the entire plane economy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it doesn't work that way.
Right. So again, what airline publishers are saying, or the airlines published a letter to the Senate Transportation Committee saying this proposal will increase cost of flying for, you guessed it, consumers. Go ahead.
P. Walker in our chat, super chat here says, electronic tips given are often skimmed in whole or in part by employers. Always tip by using cash, P. Walker says.
Good point.
I always leave cash tips for, I mean, I go out to lunch like, every day. I always, always tipping
cash.
Yeah, I was tipping cash.
Right.
I think those guys.
All right. Let's see what the airlines say about this. They say this not only threatens to increase fees on air carriers, but also severely restricts airports' abilities to effectively manage lines at the security checkpoint, resulting in a negative experience for our California customers. Now, they note in the bottom, Clear is working just fine. All consumers find value in it. They say in 2023 alone, Clear verified our frequent flyers over 5 million times in California, which means our loyal customers find value in Clear. So who wants this? Who's complained about it? Basically nobody. This is lawmakers taking this upon themselves. Well, some of the union groups have complained about it, but not consumers. Watch.
Clear has built a thriving business around doing things quite well, providing passengers willing to pony up an additional $189 a year, an opportunity to cut in front of their fellow travelers who either won't or can't do that themselves.
Representatives from the Association of Flight Attendants and the union that represents TSA screeners in Northern California spoke in support of the bill, saying they have security concerns about Clear.
Okay, so it's business interest against business interest. No consumer is complaining about this. They're just writing stupid laws that will increase costs to you that nobody asked them for. So way to tackle the big issues that no one's asking for.
Maybe you could tackle the illegal immigrant issue in your city. Maybe you could tackle the fact that, the city people who live there are paying for your flights, illegal immigrant flights to Chicago and other areas.
Oh, I wonder if they get screened at TSA, given that they don't have IDs.
There's a special line for them. Are you an illegal immigrant? That's the fast pass line.
Right.
You just go right through. You don't have to wait anybody.
Yeah, but Clayton, the rate in which illegal immigrants are coming in is going down as they increase. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's increasing slower. We're doing that math.
Right. We're doing the same math that we did earlier. Exactly.
Yeah.
The tools that we measure it, we've changed the tools that we measure it now.
Let's go over the poll really quick. So should you be forced to leave a tip? 2,300 votes so far. 4% yes. Who are you? And 96% no.
Service workers, yeah.
Oh yeah.
or they hit the wrong button. They're like, damn it, I voted yes.
Right. I'm not saying you shouldn't leave a tip. I'm saying that natural market forces should figure this out. It should not be lawmakers then putting this onus on business owners and then hurting the actual people who are doing the work.
Right. Yeah, or you go up and get a coffee or you're checking out. Go ahead, David.
Like going to places now where they're not serving you. They don't do any work. They're making your food, but it's not like they're taking it out to your table. They're not filling your drink, and they're putting tip on the receipts.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like, like an asshole if you don't tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's now a tip jar at my local gas station. Like if you go in and like buy a water, like a bottled water or something like that, there's a tip jar up there. And it's like, seriously?
What are you tipping for? Yeah.
It's odd that these tip jars and all of this stuff has really emerged over the past 3 years, isn't it?
Right.
Really
Yeah.
is odd that over the past...
I'm going to sit one on my front porch, and any FedEx driver that comes, I'm going to be like, did you tip?
Right. He's dropping a package off. Yeah. You should put out a tip jar. That's a great idea. And see if they actually leave you any money in
I'm
there.
going to put one on my desk here. Put one
There
on my
you
desk
go.
and see if anybody tips me for...
Okay. Well, we have at least $5 in super chats or $10 in super chats that said buy Philip a coffee, which I've been meaning to send you in Starbucks gift cards too.
Yeah.
But that'll get you one Starbucks if you have to tip.
Well, and also
you earned it.
YouTube takes their... what does YouTube take? They take 40%.
It's a 70-30 split. We get 30.
Great.
So
YouTube gets theirs.
Thanks.
Thanks, YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it. And we will see you next time, everyone.